Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Four Swords podcast. Today we are joined by Luxray Master.
Hey, what is up, y'all? I'm ready for this podcast. I got a lot of shit to talk about.
We're also joined by the man, the myth, the speedy legend himself, Miles per hour.
Zoom! Hello there. It's Miles per hour.
We're also joined by the fan favorite himself, Trevor Man 5.
I completed Mario Sunshine. I'm a broken man and a mess. Help me!
And today we have another special guest. This one is very special. He's a good friend of mine. I'm very happy to have him on the show. He just released a awesome Glover video. You may know him just by that already. JMatthew.
Hey, what's up, guys? JMatthew. I believe I'm the first guest, or maybe not.
Second guest.
I'm a special guest. Okay. Second guest. I'm glad to be here.
The Nintendo Switch Pro. This thing has been
For so long.
this thing has been talked about since 2018. It's the rumor that you
100%.
see every single year. And the rumor got really juicy in the last month. We have specifically not talked about it just because there was stuff continuing to come out for this thing. So I have a bunch of questions I'm going to ask all four of you guys, and it's going to be very interesting. First off, let's ask the obvious one. What is your thoughts on the idea of a Nintendo Switch Pro? Do you like it in concept, or do you just absolutely do not like this idea at all? Luxray, you first.
Well, for me, honestly, after watching your video, keeping in mind, y'all, I'm gonna bring that up throughout the video. It kind of breaks the points because, like, I think, I'll be honest, I do like the idea of a Switch Pro, and only because I think this will help this will help the company and to help them grow more and whatnot. So because like you could already see the Switch itself, like it feels a little bit downgraded, and like there are some features you would think that they would put on there that are not even there.
So
That's okay.
my thoughts on the concept of the Nintendo Switch Pro. I like it in concept if it goes with what my idea of a Switch Pro would be, and that is on the lines of a PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X, where those were improved versions of the console. It was 4K support. It was just overall a better, more powerful version of the current next-gen console, which obviously it's not next-gen anymore since we got PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. That's my thoughts on the concept of Nintendo Switch Pro if it goes those lines of a PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X.
I am very excited for the idea of a Switch Pro because simply I want to play my favorite games because a lot of my favorite games are on the Switch. So I want to play Ultimate in 4K, Breath of the Wild in 4K, Three Houses 4K, etc., etc. And just the idea of Nintendo taking this step into that level of technology is exciting to hear. But I would lie to say I wasn't worried, because I definitely am worried for what this could mean for the Switch's life cycle in general, because I'm getting flashbacks of mostly the new 3DS, or the new 2DS, because I'm pretty sure most people have the new 2DS. So there are a lot of concerns with this, but the potential behind something like a Switch Pro is almost endless.
All right, Trevor, that brings us to you.
Well, to give a short answer, yes. Because if you look back in Nintendo's history, all of their successful consoles they've given revisions for, but with the 3DS, they kind of did they didn't just do a straight up revision like the XL, but they also did the new 3DS and 3DS XL, which kind of upped the processing power, but also fixed the 3D because it was a good concept, but it was terribly implemented. But so, it's not out of Nintendo's history to do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I mean, we did get the Switch Lite, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Pro version. Yeah, because the 3DS equivalent of the Switch Lite is the 2DS. That's just honestly what it is. But the concept of a Switch Pro would be nice if implemented well.
All right, JMatthew, that brings us to you now.
Right. Okay. What are my thoughts on the Switch Pro in concept, or absolutely not like this idea? Well, I like the idea of a Switch Pro in concept, but I'm afraid Nintendo will pull a new 3DS on us and handle it horribly. But if not, I do like the idea. But either way, I'm not like exactly like hyped for. Like pretty sure Max has said this in the past. Like I'm not exactly like pumped for a Switch Pro, but 100%. I like the idea of it, and as long as I handle the games well, the exclusives well, if there is any, the price, all that good stuff, screen.
I like
Yeah.
how we're all having some of the same idea of bringing up the new 3DS, because when I talk about this this whole thing with the Switch Pro, no one's bringing up the new 3DS. And I'm glad to see some of you guys are bringing it up, knowing its existence and what Nintendo promoted with that, and then ending up with, we weren't really promised a lot.
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
I'm glad you guys
It's a shame
are
because
bringing
it's the best
it up.
version of the 3DS.
It really is.
Right, well then moving on, next question, I will go first. There are reports about exclusive games coming to the Switch Pro. How do you feel on this? Do you like or hate that? So for me, I believe this could be good or bad. I think for third parties, I can understand this decision of a third-party exclusive game, but if we're actually seeing first-party exclusive games, this makes me bring up the new 3DS XL. Nintendo promoted that system like, hey, there's going to be a lot of exclusives from our side. You got 2 exclusives. You could consider 3 with Hyrule Warriors Legends, but we only had 2 new 3DS exclusive games. That was Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, Fire Emblem Warriors. I'm afraid.
You get, like extra modes of like Majora's Mask. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Oh yeah.
Minecraft was a third-party one
And
as well.
Minecraft,
Yeah, Minecraft third party one, but and Majora's Mask was able to use the C stick like for the new 3DS, because but if you played on the regular, you had to get like that second circle pad attachment.
But what my concern is, Nintendo is going to use a similar marketing strategy with what the new 3DS was and promise all of these things, but the reality is you only get 1 or 2 things. And then I feel like that's going to start... it just gives me a lot of new 3DS vibes. What my concern is it's going with that marketing path, but I'm going to say I am fine with third parties, because third parties, they're already struggling as it is to develop for the Switch, and it's understandable why it's very, and it's not outdated, but it's not a powerful system. The Switch is not a powerful system. Like, the fact that we have The Witcher 3, Doom, all of that onto the Switch is very incredible. But we're starting to see more third-party games struggle even worse on the Switch now with games like Outer Worlds, as an example. So, Luxray, that brings us to you. What is your thoughts on this?
Now, for this specifically, I guess, at the time, like when I bring up the 3DS XL thing, like, I wasn't too affected by it, but at the same time, like, I think after thinking about that, I think like for the exclusives, if there was anything with like there being exclusive, I think it would be okay unless, like I said, I agree the point you made, unless they're done well and we're getting something out of, like, we're getting some things out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as they're giving us something to accommodate for it and stuff like that, I wouldn't mind it at all.
Miles, that brings us to you.
So, I've thought about this for a little bit. Now, what I had in mind for this idea for like the new games and stuff like that. So, I feel like Nintendo should do something where, if this happens, this could either blow up in their face or work spectacularly, because the Switch has been one of Nintendo's biggest successes in like decades, because like almost everyone has a Switch, kind of like how everyone has a Wii in that sense.
And it's probably
So-
going to outsell the Wii, just to add on to that.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think about.
Yeah,
Everyone
had a Wii.
Yeah, your grandma had a Wii. Your like it's just like nursing homes have Wiis. Just Dance 2020 released on the Wii for some reason.
My teacher had a Wii.
Yes. So, like, I had this idea where, and this is kind of I had the ship of Theseus in my mind. For any WandaVision fans, you'll get this, where eventually you replace something, and then that's kind of the same thing, but not exactly the same thing. Where eventually more and more exclusives come out for the Switch Pro. Like, you could still play some of these games on the regular Switch, but, you know, eventually some must-haves have it. Like, let's say Super Mario Odyssey 2 is a Switch Pro exclusive. In a way, that could be Nintendo going to the new console generation without exactly switching into something else.
To add on what you're saying, you were talking about how everyone has a Switch. I just had this thought come to my mind. The Switch Pro isn't going to do Nintendo Switch numbers. It's not going to have the 80 million units sold for the Switch Pro. That system's probably going to sell, I don't know, 12 to 15 million in 1 year. My thoughts are now, Nintendo's obviously going to care more about the 80 million Switch units that were sold than the Nintendo Switch Pro units, because those are going to sell very well. I'm not saying they're going to sell awful, but Nintendo's going to choose supporting the Nintendo Switch, the regular unit, more than the Nintendo Switch Pro, because that's where the numbers are. Trevor,
much, yeah.
That brings us to you.
Okay, so exclusive games, I'm not surprised. Do I like the idea? Well, I'm kind of iffy, because the new 3DS, as we said, had exclusive games, but the exclusive games, like for a console upgrade, are usually there to help sell it to people who aren't tech savvy, who aren't like in the know like we would. Like, we would buy it anyways, probably just for the upgrades, but like casual people, you know, like that, like bought the Switch just for like Animal Crossing, wouldn't probably buy it unless, you know, they have a game on there that's exclusive for that Switch only. And so it kind of puts them on like a pivot of, do I buy it? Do I not? So it's interesting. But like a lot of consoles, even Nintendo in the past, have technically used this. Not just to buy like console upgrade, but to buy like certain console pieces, like Majora's Mask and Donkey Kong 64. Like, they couldn't really work without without the RAM upgrade, the RAM pack for the N64. Mostly Donkey Kong 64, there was just a level that you would just glitch and it would just crash if you didn't have it. Majora's Mask, it just had better like frame rates and textures. I don't like the idea right now, but if there are games that are actually taking advantage of the hardware, that would be like, oh yeah, this actually couldn't run on the original Switch. We couldn't get it at all. Like, that'd be good, instead of it being like, oh yeah, like you need this new hardware to run it, when you find out like a month later modders were able to make it run on an original Switch, no fucking problem.
JMatthew, what's your thoughts on this?
Alright, well, I do want exclusive games on the Switch Pro, because for me, I don't think there's really enough reasons for me to buy a whole new Switch if it's just like quality enhanced and like screen enhanced. Because, like, I mean, the Switch Lite obviously, you know, didn't have any exclusive games. Like, number one, why would it? But it did offer like a whole different thing. You know, it was quite different and offered actual perks. But like, if they do exclusive games, they better actually do it right this time. Not new 3DS where this, like we talked about, how it's just Hyrule Warriors, you know, the other two.
Mm-hmm.
It would also help Nintendo like expand the lifespan of the Switch, you know, furthermore, because it's doing really well and it's not slowing down anytime soon. So the Switch Pro would definitely help them, you know, extend that install base.
Basically, like, it's another marketing tactic. Gives you a reason to buy it instead of just being complacent with your current Switch.
I just thought that they do something like new with it. So like, I'm not gonna buy it if it's just a quality upgrade and, you know, screen, stuff like that. I don't think for $100 more if it's like $400. So
yeah,
I agree.
I agree though. Like, it has to be worth it in order to, like, you know, like they have to make it worth it.
It's like, it has to be like as if like the new 3DS had like a built-in like Circle Pad Pro type of deal, like where it's like that kind of upgrade or something like that.
All right, for our third question, I meant to put this in our question. I screwed it up. I am changing it just a tiny bit. So the Nintendo Switch Pro is supposed to be a 7-inch screen, which is, I believe the original Nintendo Switch was 6.2 inches, the screen. So the Nintendo Switch Pro handheld screen is going to be 7 inches, and on top of that, on the handheld screen, there is going to be OLED into the screen. Do you think this is a great addition to the Nintendo Switch Pro? I will go. So, I actually love the idea of OLED. I think that is exciting that OLED might actually be coming to the handheld part of the Switch Pro. Because, I mean, we saw game systems like the PS Vita use OLED, which, that was so freaking beautiful. I don't know if anyone here has a PS Vita.
Oh yeah,
But the
I don't
OLED,
think I don't have it.
it was great. It was great.
the
Nice.
OLED on that was like revolutionary. Like that was actually crazy at the time. Because there wasn't a Nintendo Switch at the time. And with how powerful the Vita system was, that it was beautiful. OLED is beautiful. And we're seeing OLED TVs come out, which also are beautiful. I don't own an OLED TV, but I saw one at Best Buy and my eyes were blown away. It was beautiful. But my concern with having an OLED on the handheld screen of the Nintendo Switch Pro, I'm worried about, is this going to be a permanent addition to the Nintendo Switch Pro? Because we saw the PS Vita, they got rid of that in the revision model because it was too expensive. And I'm hoping that's, considering this Nintendo Switch Pro is going to be way more expensive than a PS Vita, I doubt we were going to get in that situation where Nintendo would remove the OLED for cost efficiency.
Yeah.
Luxray, you're up.
For this, honestly, I never had a PSP Vita. I never had one, so I probably won't have too much to say about this. But like, I think I think that would be pretty cool to see something different and all that. I'm all down to see something different. But like, when it comes to like when it comes to price now, that kind of is like it's just like I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know.
Yeah, the fact that OLED is coming to the Switch, depending which OLED they pick, there is cheap OLED, which I'm wondering if that's what Nintendo is going to be going with. That is in existence, and depending what OLED they go with is probably why the Nintendo Switch Pro is going to be very expensive. Miles, that leads up to you.
So, now that you mentioned that there are different kinds of OLED, I could imagine Nintendo straight up going for the cheaper OLED. It's just a lot more efficient cost-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I honestly think that screen would look really nice. As someone who has his fair share of upgrades for his iPhones, it's always nice to see how Apple changes its screen every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the feeling would be even better on a Switch, especially hearing that like OLED screens would have blacker blacks. So basically, instead of a Miles black, it'd be a Luxray black.
Jesus Christ.
Bro.
But and everything's gonna look crisper. That would help a lot with the handheld experience.
I think it's like my thing about the OLED though is like, would it add any like performance benefits? Like besides just looking good, like is the refresh rate better? Like, would it help like improve frame rate? Like latency and stuff, or is it just better looking overall, or is that just really the it? Because like if it's just better looking overall, then I don't have a problem with it. But I'm also like, I could go without it.
I think the OLED is going to benefit just for the fact that it's been reported that the actual screen is going to just be 720p. They're not doing 1080. So I think the OLED's definitely going to benefit that, since we're not getting 1080p screen on the handheld mode of the Switch.
Probably benefit battery life then.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So then JMatthew, that leaves us to you.
I mean, I had a PS Vita for a few years now, and that screen is beautiful, dude. Like you said.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that PS Vita is gone for that's a story for another day.
Rest in peace.
But,
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Anything 720 and above is fine with me. Like we currently have 720 handheld right now, right? But like it dips below at certain points. I would be fine with like guaranteed 720 and no dips. Like that'd be fine with me. 1080 4K would be amazing as well. And the OLED would look like incredible on the Switch like that.
That brings us to our next question. The Switch Pro is most likely going to be $350 to $400 according to the reports of this system. How does that make you feel? And do you think this system deserves that much of a price increase? I will be going first. I think my opinion's more going to be mattering on the fact depending what OLED they pick. If it's the cheap OLED, which is I feel like the most likely outcome, I don't think it's worth 400, but 350 I think is more justifiable. Although if we get like the real OLED stuff, I guess 400 is justifiable. Even though if you look at the other systems on the market right now, you can get a true next gen console for pretty much 400. Because I mean, you got PlayStation 5 that has the discless model, which is 400, and then you have the Xbox Series S, which
It's 300.
yeah, 300. And then, you know, if you wanted disc drives, it's 500. So, Luxray, you're up.
Now, I'm not really. Now, I might mention OLED later, but like, I'm gonna say this before I forget. But like, I mean, really, I think, honestly, for it to be like 400, I think it would be too much. I guess it more depends whether they're gonna put in the work to put more stuff into it, to where it's not like bare bones or like if it's like, you know, a downgrade. Because if we get a Switch Pro and it has a few things and it's the exact same as the Switch, I'm gonna be pissed because you know, you spent all that money and there's only a few things that really, like, you know, stood out for it. It's not really gonna be worth it for that much.
Miles, you're up.
So, while thinking about this, I also looked online to see the price of some Switches now, and I'm seeing a bunch of bundles. And all these bundles, like the Monster Hunter bundle, is running for $350. So that personally convinces me that this might end up being $400. And that's the same price as a PS5 digital edition.
Yep.
Which, yeah, like, it's definitely something to think about. Because, for one thing, that's more expensive than an Xbox Series S, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, just trying to reiterate what you're saying.
No, I think it's a great comparison. I think it needs to be brought up again. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's, I feel like the price is justified if we're getting the higher end OLED and 4K, and possibly even a new dock, because that's something that was kind of concerning me too, if we're going to get the same dock, or if we're going to get some kind of upgrades with more ports or something like that.
All right, Trevor, you're up.
So the thing is, like, I'm basically going to agree, like, with Luxray in the sense of, like, if it's $400, they have to make it worth it. It can't just be like a simple upgrade and then upcharging it like $100. I'm like, for what? Like 5% better textures and like 10 extra frames on some games? Like, I'm sorry, Breath of the Wild is still like lagging in the Lost Woods. Are you kidding me? No. Like,
But like, you think this like some kind of convenience for you, Nintendo? Really? No, we ain't doing that.
It has to be better. It actually like, it has to be like a significant jump from like the Xbox One, like the VCR unit, to the Xbox Series X. Like, it has to be that sort of significant jump to where it's worth upgrading.
All right, JMatthew, that leaves us with you.
If it's gonna be 400 instead of like 350 or less, it's gotta be either comparable to like the the PS5 digital edition. Like, it doesn't have to be like PS5 quality, but it's gotta be like at least gotta battle up against it, or it has to have like extra upgrades that like people want and all that good stuff, and actual improvements and upgrades like for the Pro. You can't just make a Pro and like a $400 and all that crap. So I mean, like the Lite was $100 less. Like, why wouldn't the Pro be $100 more? So
Yeah,
it's a weird situation. It's just I don't see 350 like more than 400. I see 400 the most, honestly. They just gotta make it worth it and add the right things to it.
Also,
the Splatoon and Monster Hunter versions are like 350 already, so I feel like they just
Yeah. But also, to add on to the Switch Lite thing, the Switch Lite was $100 less because they legit took things out of that model, that version of the Switch,
That's
to
true.
make it $100 less. So it's not like, first they took off the docking functionality, they took out the Joy-Cons, they took out a lot of expensive parts.
Exactly.
And,
So like,
yeah.
if they're adding things, then maybe it'll be $100 more.
Yeah. I think the ad should make it like that. They should just add. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be worth it to be a Switch Pro for $100 more.
Like, I'm sorry, like an overclocked Tegra X1 is not worth it. I'm sorry, like overclocked,
Yeah.
okay. Like, I'm sorry, that's not worth paying $100 more.
There are reports that are suggesting that games are going to be heavily focused on having 4K support. Does that excite you, considering we have never had a Nintendo 4K console yet? I will go first. I think that is exciting, especially since, I mean, it's not like a groundbreaking feature since other people have had it before. And I feel like Nintendo fans, this is my personal opinion comparing other video game fans, I feel like Nintendo fans aren't gonna really care about having 4K, because they've never had it before. I don't think they're gonna get a 4K TV with the Nintendo Switch Pro. And I mean, it's still cool to have, because there's some games that would look beautiful in 4K, like Astral Chain is one that I would bring up. I think that's gonna look beautiful in 4K, especially in handheld mode if the OLED is really nice.
It is exciting. As I said for the opening stuff, I'm more than happy to see all these Nintendo games in 4K. For the ones that are already out, they're probably just going to look crisper and they're going to load faster. But for games specifically built from the ground up, like, I'm really looking forward to it, and especially for third parties. Like, I can imagine, let's say, Capcom or someone trying to make something nice looking for the Switch. Like, seeing something like that on Nintendo console, that would genuinely put a smile on my face. So yeah, that's all I got really say about that too. And I'm hoping that the other third-party games will get upgrades like Mortal Kombat. Have you seen Mortal Kombat on the Switch? But now with the Switch Pro, we could possibly have both.
That's true. That is very true.
Agreed.
All right.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with you, Trevor.
So, like, if anyone else remembers, there were reports going around that Nintendo was sending emails to the companies being like, "Yo, make sure to get your games like 4K ready with patches and stuff." So, like, which was kind of adding to the Switch Pro rumors and stuff. So, to me, like, I'm like most Nintendo fans, like, and I've already said, like, 4K to me doesn't really matter. Like as long as the game runs well and it looks good, and it can at least and even if it does have like resolution dips, like it still performs well. Like I don't care. Like on my computer though, like I won't do anything below 1080p 60. Like if it's possible, because I know some games, like some older games, can't even do 1080p. Like that they can't even reach that resolution, which sucks. So 4K to me won't really matter. Like I can stay with the 1080p. So, because to me, it's not PC game. PC game is like I want it to look the best. I want it to play the best at the highest resolution that I can, or at least 1080. The Nintendo, I don't care if it's 500p. As long as it's a stable frame rate and it plays good and the game is just good in general. 1080p, 4K, I don't care.
JMatthew, you're next.
You're saying that. Yeah, 4K on the Switch would be great. Although, like Trevor explained, I do not need it, nor do I. Yeah, I don't need 4K. Although it would be pretty crazy for Nintendo to do 4K, especially that quick. Usually you expect them to do it like a generation or two later, But like seeing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe like at just 720 or Breath of the Wild at just 720, imagining that in 4K, that would be incredible. Yeah, I don't know if they would do that now. Maybe next gen. I don't know about Pro. Pro maybe just like locked at 1080, hopefully, 60 frames, all that good stuff. But like 4K, I mean, most people don't even use 4K that often, even yet. So it's not like it's a big, issue to give 4K right now.
And that's you say something perfect. Like, I don't know about with you guys. When I'm over at friends' house, I don't see them with 4K TVs. I don't see their parents with 4K TVs. Like, I don't think 4K has really been popular like people think in the world. I don't know if it's really successful because I don't see it. I've been to a lot of people's houses. They don't have 4K TVs.
I mean, I still see 720p pretty often.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. So
it's not like it's.
I don't think
Most
it's needed.
Nintendo games already look pretty good at 720, so like a locked 1080 and 60 frames would be more than enough for me.
With all the rumors and all of that out of the way, what would you actually like to see from the Nintendo Switch Pro? It doesn't have to be rumored. It can be the most ridiculous thing ever. What do you want to see out of the Switch Pro? I will start.
I want UMD video.
Oh god, y'all know what I'm about to say.
Pornhub!
Laserdisc
What?
support.
I want to
Floppy disk support.
Floppy disk support. I mean, give me the CD support, man. I just want to put my PS1 games in there and have it be like, ew, Sony, fuck them.
Disk drive.
So
Yo,
what I
want some of that Robo Pussy from Japan.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
What I want from the Nintendo Switch Pro, I really just want to see locked 60 FPS on a lot of games that are at a locked 60 FPS or 30 FPS. Sorry, I want to see updates to that. If like some of these third-party games that are at 30 or not even at a locked 30, I would like to see that updated to 60. We're seeing that with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. They're updating so many third-party, first-party games to 60 FPS, and I think that is honestly incredible that they're going that far, like that beyond their game library, not focusing like on other stuff. They're actually going back in the past. Like, not to be like Samurai Jack, but like they're quite literally going back to the
Samurai
past.
Jack is the best though.
That brings us with you, Luxray.
Oh, y'all already know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, bro, like, y'all, one of the things I've been preaching for the longest, I've been saying for the longest, y'all ain't ready for this shit. But like, what I would like to see come to Switch, what I like to see from the Switch Pro is some better fucking online. God, please give us that. I cannot tell you how much I hate the Switch Online. It's the worst thing ever. Fucking, I don't know. They need to do something. They need to give us some update or something like that, y'all. I know some folks will say, "Oh, it's $20." It's about what you get from the $20. Accommodate for that shit. So, and like, you know, just hopefully the things that I mean with like the Switch Pro for online is definitely give us a way to talk to our friends, like, you know.
Whoa! Hold on. Are you dissing the Nintendo Switch Online app?
Oh no! Who uses that shit? Okay.
The slander.
You mean the cancer cell on my phone?
Y'all, who uses that?
Put
in the comment section who uses that.
I absolutely love that I can talk to my friends and not turn off the screen on my phone without having to exit out the app. I think that is a great implement to the Nintendo Switch Online app. Such a superior app.
I will only use that app if I could talk trash to people online on Smash. Unfortunately, can't do that, but if it's going to give me the option, then I'll use it, Nintendo, so please.
Yeah.
And the Splatoon 2 headset. Bro, that is an amazing headset created by Nintendo.
I forgot about that headset.
I remember.
All right.
Just saying.
That leaves us with you, Miles.
So, 3 things. And I'm going to try to go in levels of how realistic these are. 1, Joy-Cons, fix them, please. I think that's self-explanatory. Second, I want to see background downloads or whatever it's called, where I could just download something and play something else while. What's up?
Are you saying themes?
Not themes, but themes would be nice. What's the? You know
think
how
background downloads, active background downloads.
Active background downloads. Thank you, Jennifer. So number 3, and this one's very unrealistic. I kind of thought of this idea where the Switch Pro would be dual screened. It'd basically be a DS but a Switch. I call it the Nintendo D Switch.
Bro.
I don't know. Like, I feel like that could maybe boost up some marketability because like everyone had a DS too. So like,
I just see a bunch of
maybe
memes.
Some games of that and the dual screen stuff.
I see a bunch of memes coming out of that name if it happened. The Nintendo D Switch.
New Nintendo Switch XL Lite SP.
And Knuckles.
1.5
featuring Dante.
New
funky mode.
New deluxe funky mode featuring DJ Khaled.
HD.
Anyways,
1.5 remix.
HD.
but
Where the hell are we in Kingdom Hearts now?
the story so far.
It was gonna be fucking real Bluetooth support. Like, keep the headphone jack, but also have some actual Bluetooth like support for headphones and shit. God damn. Also, like add microphone support for in the controllers, please. Like for like the Pro controller and stuff. Please. Have support for that.
Yeah.
God, come on. Also, like better special editions, like in line with like the Mario special edition Switch that we got, like more like that. Where like instead of just like the back of the Switch and like the Joy-Cons, like do the whole entire Switch. Like make it a special edition. Okay, not something that I can buy like a replacement backplate on Etsy just to and switch it out. Like go.
Well, the Mario Switch just came out.
Oh, I know. I mentioned that, and something in line with that though. You know,
right,
where they do the whole Switch, not just like the back and the Joy-Cons. Please, oh god, please do that. And to go along with the theme, oh, sorry, JMatthew. What?
Sorry, but I mean, was that not the whole Switch? I thought they like made the whole thing.
The Mario
right.
Switch, yeah. But I'm talking about like with like the Smash Brothers Switch and the.
You mean like more of that? Okay.
Yeah, more of the like the Mario Switch and stuff. Like
Sorry,
more like no, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like more special editions like the Mario one, where the whole Switch is like like changed up, not just the bat, like in the Joy-Cons, like the Pokemon Let's Go and Smash Ultimate one.
Yeah,
but also, in like the themes though, a better eShop. That shit is so bland. There's no music, and the only time they really changed it was for Mario 35th anniversary because they added some Mario stuff to it, like some themes. But like, there's still no music.
What, is that going away too?
Yeah,
I think that's going away.
That sucks. That's so bad.
Bro,
like the fact that the Wii U still has a better eShop is like
100%, 200% Wii U's better eShop.
Like, and just a better OS in general, please. Like a better like I'm sorry, but like the main menu, it's so boring. Themes would be great, but also like the Wii U had such a better main menu. Like it had a better like interface. Because like you had the Mii's walking around, you had like apps being like, oh, this is what the latest thing in this app would ever do, and like you could have like the news thing have a pop up like the latest news stuff, not just have it on the front page when you're unlocking it. Like please, like give the entire OS an overhaul. It needs it. It's been bare bones for 4 or 5 years now. It's 4 years now. We're going on 5. I can't please Nintendo, give the OS an overhaul. It really desperately needs it.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Like the fact that like your previous console, which did terribly, has better eShop, a better main menu interface, and it's really sad.
JMatthew, you're last,
right.
and it's the last question. Make it awesome.
Well, of course, being the last one talking, and you're basically summing up everything everyone else has already said. So I would say any screen that's better than the current Switches, or like promised 720 that doesn't go below that, 1080 4K, whatever, anything better than what we have right now, and locked 60 FPS would be insane, especially for games like Hyrule Warriors, Monster Hunter Rise might need it, all the Doom, the Witcher 3, all those games that were virtually impossible before they made it happen on the Switch. I would say better battery, even though they already did a revision that has better battery. I would say even better battery, please. Bigger screen, of course. That might already be coming. It's pretty rumored recently. Mm-hmm. Better Joy-Cons that don't drift after 5 minutes. Exclusives has to be done right. There has to be an actual purpose for exclusives, and promoting that with the Switch Pro during marketing. They can't pull another new 3DS. It's just if that happens, that's just And Nintendo's online as well, like you guys said, they got to fix that. That's a huge issue. Not trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to play Smash Online with one frame. Themes. Oh my God, themes. They made a whole section in the settings page for themes and only put black and white, and not even any other primary color. What is that?
Like, that makes no sense. That makes
Give us
no
gray.
sense.
3DS had more primary colors.
Bro, for real, give us green, blue, yellow,
Please
orange,
green.
purple.
Oh, green. Please green. My favorite color.
They're just colors. You don't make a whole themes page and then just put black and white. You just. How is there only that? Like,
Or
yes,
allow custom themes too. Like allow users to make their own themes.
yes. Like, how is there only 2 primary colors? It's just their primary colors. At least add like red, blue, green, all that crap. You know?
Yeah.
Folders on the interface would be nice. Folders would help a
That
lot.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, folders. Fucking
Because
folders.
people are always complaining about how it's a limited home screen. As like you can only fit like so many on the home screen. Then you have to like dig through your library to get certain games. If you're a digital guy or whatever. So folders would help a lot. I use folders a lot on like PS4, PS5. So yeah, and there's also an issue that it's kind of a small issue, but I do like my play hours on my play activities. So this is what I'm gonna complain about. Fixing the issue where if you buy a new Switch, you transfer your data, right? And then your play hours reset for that game. They need to fix that because I don't want to get a new Switch and then like my 200 hours of Animal Crossing are just wiped,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
That is definitely disappointing because
that's a big error for me.
I would
sure.
definitely be sad to see that I believe I have almost 500 hours into Smash Ultimate. That would be sad to see that go away.
Exactly. I know Scott the Waz lost all his hours on certain games, so
Ooh.
price like 400 is what I see, but like 350 for the Pro, and then like marking down the light in the normal one makes sense as well. So I don't know. OLED would be beautiful because the PS Vita was beautiful. So all that stuff is nice. Yeah, that's all I got. That's for the last question.
I actually gotta add one thing. I just thought of it. I'm sorry.
Got you.
So,
No, I'm joking.
damn it, Max. But like.
No, Trevor, you cannot add something.
Fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyways. We're going against the system, bro! Anyways.
Oh wait, actually, I didn't finish. I'm so sorry. I have one last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh
Just
my
get into it.
gosh, this episode is 1 hour and 20 minutes long already.
Have fun editing.
Listen.
I'm telling you, internet browser would be great. Internet browser and like Crunchyroll, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright.
My last thing, I'll make it quick. And this doesn't have to be with the Switch Pro, but I wish they would fix it in general. Make game card prices like cheaper, so companies like Activision and Bethesda, whatever, don't make you download half the game or just give you a case and make you download the whole game. Make it to make cards easier so they can put a whole ass game on there without having to do that. Because like I hate that how like Crash Insane Trilogy, the whole game's on there, but Spiral Reignited Trilogy, you have to download the last 2 fucking games in that trilogy. And only the first game's on there. I hate it. I think it's stupid. And like I'm just like, why make a physical version in the first place then? Just make it digital only. Like what the fuck? Like Doom Eternal. That's really it.
It's like Crash privilege.
Shut the fuck up, Miles.
Alrighty, guys. So this brings us towards the end of the episode. We're gonna do all our plugs and all that, but I'm gonna go ahead and let JMatthew go first on plugging since he is our guest of today's episode. JMatthew, plug yourself.
All right, that's JMatthew at capital JM and then Matthew, so just all together, no spaces, all that stuff. I'm on YouTube, obviously. I do videos here and there. I do
Glover.
reviews mixed with skits.
Glover.
Yes, Glover. My
Glover.
Glover video just came out about
Glover.
5 or 6 days ago.
Glover.
But yes, as
Glover.
Max says, Glover, he is in the cameo reel, so
Glover.
go check that out for sure.
Glover.
Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter if you would like to. It's at JMatthew YouTube.
Glover.
That's all I got. I got some big things coming. So
Glover.
All right. So, subscribe to me at miles per hour. Let's see. By the time this video is going to be uploaded, my April Fool's video might be up. So look forward to that, and please don't get mad at me. Then I stream on Twitch any weekday and every Sunday, and that's 221MPH. And my Twitter is miles_per_hour and the number 1.
Alrighty, Trevor, you go.
So, of course, guys, like I'm all over the internet. Like my YouTube is TrevorMan5. My Twitter is at PokeFanTrevor, but my username is TrevorMan5. TikTok is TrevorMan5 too. If y'all want to check me out on TikTok as well.
Screw TikTok.
Yeah.
wow.
Max, Max,
Let him plug in
well,
peace.
Max, I have a Master Sword. Don't make me use it.
Oh no.
Okay?
So do I if you watch the Clover video.
But on, like, an Instagram is TrevorMan52. Like, I'm working on, I'm trying to work on some videos right now. But I've been having fun on posting on TikTok and just posting on Twitter. You see a lot of my Game Boy builds that I've been doing on Twitter. Like, I just had a shell ship, and it's coming probably tomorrow for Game Boy Color. But other than that, guys, yeah, and I'm also still working on music too. So I got music out as well. So like Zardius, that's Zard, like the end of Charizard, IOUS. I got a single called Sunshine out. If y'all want to listen to that as well, like on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere. You can even search it up on YouTube if you want. It's there too. And that's about it. Thanks, guys.
Lux, ready? You're up. I don't know if you have your stuff ready yet, but
Well, yeah, I don't at the moment, but like, yeah, I am gonna be having my solo channel coming up. Yeah, and then I have, what was it? Yeah, and I'm Luxury Master Cost Lightning Bolt on Instagram. I'm on Instagram most of the time, but I will be on Twitter occasionally. Sometimes I kind of regret going to Twitter because Twitter's like a hellfire there. But okay, so yeah, good way to put it. But yeah, yeah. Oh, Max, is there anything that is exciting coming for this channel though?
oh yes, guys, we have Four Swords live streams in the works. By the time this episode comes out, which will be in April, there should be a live stream this month in April. There should be a couple. The long-term goal is to have at least one stream a week every Thursday night. So by the time this episode comes out, there should be more development on what's happening with that. Mr. Trevor will be doing those streams.
Yo, what's
props to him.
up?
Yeah, and that's being mods and shit, yo. We just, but don't worry. Four Swords main priority. Force Podcast main priority. Don't worry. It's
And everyone
just,
will be dropping by too.
yeah.
I
then we'll
will
have
not
some-
be there all the time. I will not be there all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But
You'll see me like doing it. Sometimes I'll be doing it solo, but like people from the group will be dropping by.
But yeah, and just definitely give it a chance. Just give it a try whenever these things come up and whatnot. But don't worry. Four Swords is always still gonna have the videos regularly. So don't worry about that. Definitely. That's all I gotta say on my piece on that.
Alrighty, guys. Well, this comes to the end of our episode. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I didn't plug myself because everyone knows who I am. I'm the big M with the sword. So, yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Boys, don't stop.
Alright, guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out
Comment.
our Discord server, comment, check out JMatthew's Glover video, and all that good stuff. I will see you guys in the next podcast. Peace.